now behind the league leaders, Arsenal, who got another victory at Turf Moor over Burnley. As we had showed you, we want to hear now, though, from their boss. Here's Mikel Arteta.
I think in the first half we were exceptional, scored 2 goals, probably should have scored another 2 or 3. We give nothing away. And that was a platform to win it, because in the second half it's true that we weren't that precise, especially with the ball. We had to make a few changes, and yeah, we didn't have that much control of the game. But defensively, again, we were exceptional to maintain the clean sheet.
What do you put that down to in the second half? Was that your own game management in the midst of a busy schedule, or do you give Burnley credit for the way they came back at you?
Credit to Burnley as well. The way they set up, they make it really difficult. They are really well organised. Well, there is a reason why they lost 1 game in 18 months here against Liverpool in the last second of the game. So we know the difficulty of what we've done today, and we really value it, and for sure there are things to improve.
Can I ask you about your goal scorers? Firstly, Victor Gyökeres in the right place at the right time, but then he came off at half-time. What can you tell us about that and his goal?
Yeah, well, it's not the goal only, it was the performance. I think the first half is one of the best games that he's played with us. He was exceptional in every single department, and yeah, he felt something muscular, so we'll have to wait and see the extent of that, and we're all very happy.
9 wins in a row for Mikel Arteta's men, maybe equally or more impressive. 8 clean sheets in that run.
They're looking really, really strong all over the pitch and off the pitch with the people who they've got on the bench. And when you consider they've also got a couple of injuries as well. So defensively, mean, tight, giving nothing away, not even giving shots away to the opposition. Set pieces, as we know, both for and against, really, really strong. So yeah, they look the real deal, Arsenal. I was mightily impressed with their first half performance yesterday. Second half, they had to manage it a little bit more, and they did that. But the first half against Burnley was really impressive all over the park. Fullbacks are getting forward and getting into so many scoring positions. Declan Rice was absolutely outstanding. He was a driving force in midfield, scored a wonderful header. So all over the pitch, Arsenal looking strong and have set the tone for this Premier League.
Yeah, we're just looking at the fixtures there and confirmations of those 9 wins in a row in all competitions. The only goal they conceded was against Newcastle. How impressed are you?
We spend probably 80-90% of our time talking about goals and the creation of goals and assists, and rightly so. You know, it's the thing that everyone wants to do, score goals when you start playing football. But it's the teams that keep the ball out of the net well, and Arsenal have done that. I'm not sure I look at anybody else in the Premier League at this moment in time and think you're really hard to score against or get a shot away against. But Arsenal, you've got to revere what they do defensively, collectively as well, as a team.
They celebrate those blocks, defensive work they celebrate as well. And there is that saying that defense wins you championships. So, you know, are they the best? Is that what's going to set them up for this run that they're trying to go on to eventually end that title drought?
I think so. I think you've got to be based on, I think you look at all the teams that have won the Premier League over the years, and the vast majority of them are all based on being tough to beat defensively and probably got the best defensive record in the league at the end of the season.
Yeah, just you mentioned the injuries that they had. Now, last season, if someone like Odegaard was out, if Kai Havertz was out, it would have made such a big difference to this team. You saw they finished the season with Mikel Merino playing up top as their striker. This season, the way in which they've bolstered that team, the work that Berta has done behind the scenes, and the way that Arteta is also, I think, managing them, playing different players in different games, that's key. That's the big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think without doubt, you're leaving Calafiore out, you're bringing Lewis Skelly in. Odegaard's out. You got Zubimendi in there. Madueke's out. You've got Saka. You've got Trossard. You've got Eze. So their squad depth really this year is impressive. And when you have to change things, then you're bringing quality players onto the football pitch. You're not bringing squad players on, you're bringing quality players on who would get in most people's first teams. And that's the big difference for me this year. Of course, they're always going to be solid defensively because of those, particularly those two in Gabriel and Saliba. But even without those two, maybe in Carabao Cup, they're bringing in Mosquera and other quality players in. So that's the big difference.
Yeah, you mentioned Declan Rice even scored a goal from open play yesterday. If there are chinks in the armour, what are they? What are the concerns of this Arsenal team?
I think it's like all the teams in the league. it's injuries, weight of matches. You know, Arsenal are playing with the travelling in Europe. You get a couple of injuries to key players and it affects you. But they're the same as everybody else. Liverpool, Man City, they're all have got the same games programme. It's just how you handle that and you hopefully avoid any key injuries to real key players. You can chop and change one or two, but there's certain players that are unchangeable. Haaland, Manchester City. I think Declan Rice falls into that as well at Arsenal.
Yeah, Gyökeres got a goal, the opening goal against Burnley, came off injured and heard from Mikel Arteta that they have to wait and see. What did you make of his goal?
I thought his performance in the first half yesterday was the best we've seen in an Arsenal shirt. I thought he was aggressive in terms of his closing down. His work rate was, and I'm not one for praising work rate because it should automatically come with being a footballer, but the way he closed down, showed a great attitude. That's one of the reasons why Arsenal signed him, was to do that, to score little tap-ins from 1 and 2 yards. Yeah, and it was. I hope he's okay because I think he's had a decent start to his Arsenal career. Went a few games without scoring, scored a couple in the Champions League, scored that yesterday. So I hope it's nothing too serious for him.
Yeah, they really have 6 defeats in their last 7 games in all competitions. Worrying, we were wondering, full-blown crisis, mini crisis, how would they get out of it?
Well, listen, they started the season with 5 victories in the Premier League, and we're all thinking, wow, they're retaining the title, they look very strong this year, and all of a sudden they get 4 defeats on the bounce, and that's the beauty of football, I suppose. They were conceding too many cheap goals. The opposition were finding it too easy to get in behind them and hurt them, and they need to solve that because they've got enough attacking players in their ranks to get the goals to drive them where they want to be. They've just got to be tighter defensively.
Yeah, important, as you mentioned, those changes in the Carabao Cup, obviously in midweek, with one eye, as you said, on trying to get back to winning ways in the Premier League. He went back to a little bit more of a familiar midfield. Yeah,
Gravenberch was back in after missing the Brentford game, wasn't it? So, and I think he adds a bit of stability in there. And those 3, they know each other's game. And there's definitely more energy, more aggression about their game, particularly in the midfield. I was really surprised that Aston Villa weren't more direct because they kept playing short, and that played right into Liverpool's hands, particularly with the way they pressed. They got the goal off a mistake from the goalkeeper, but it was because they were pressing. They got the second goal also because of the way they were pressing and didn't allow any space in the middle there for Aston Villa players. So it's a start. It's something to say, look, we've got the right result. I wouldn't say the pressure's off them, but because of the next 2 games that they've got, Madrid and Manchester City, but you've got to start from somewhere, and that's what they desperately needed, that win yesterday.
Yeah, just speaking of Tuesday in the Champions League at Anfield, the return of Trent Alexander-Arnold is all anyone is talking about, and that's coming on Tuesday. And then the small matter of Manchester City just 5 days later. Big games.
They're 2 massive games to take into an international break. I know it's like as a manager and you're desperate to certainly win the one before you go in. You've got a couple of weeks losing your players potentially. But listen, what 2 fantastic games that will shape the European Cup and obviously on top of that, the Premier League.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about your experience as a manager and perhaps helping us understand Arne Slot and how he's struggling to kind of fit everyone in. He's still working out, who should start, who shouldn't start. He changed in midweek. He changed again yesterday. Just talk to us about what that's like as a manager.
Well, he's made some big judgment calls, moving Núñez on. Núñez maybe not hit the ground running, but he was a fan's favourite. His energy was a big thing. Diaz leaving the football club, obviously, was a big one for me. I didn't see that. I didn't see the need to ship him out. I understood that maybe he needed to balance the books slightly because of the players he wanted to bring in, and he saw Isak as a big foil for Ekitike as well. So he's trying to freshen the squad up, but by trying to freshen it up, it almost put it back a little bit. I think they'll get better. Wirtz will get better as well as the season goes on, and the togetherness as a group will get better. But Arne has probably been really fortunate last year. He walked into a football club that had been managed by somebody, and
which is why I think the fact that they finish second on the last 3 seasons, but things are finally coming together for Arsenal. And you know, as Carl mentioned, you know, the strength they've got there now. They do have 2 players for every position. So, you know, let's not forget they've got 4 key players out at the moment.
They'll never have a better chance.
No, this is their season.
They've got to do it this season.
Yeah.
They've got to do it this season.
You're saying the pressure he's under, but you go to his news conferences week in, week out, as do I, and I've noticed one thing, he looks so relaxed. I know winning will bring that, but have you noticed that change in him?
Yeah, you know, and he should be relaxed in that. They've only conceded 3 goals. Yeah, is it you know, Erling Haaland, Szoboszlai and Voltemade.
Yeah.
3 players have scored against Arsenal this season. We're in November. I mean, it's extraordinary. So he's going to be relaxed. He should be relaxed, shouldn't he?
He should be. I mean, just on Arsenal's title challenge, Carl, do you see anybody stopping them, or is this going to be a relentless march and we might not be talking about a title race long before May?
Nothing is inevitable until a mass group of people decide it is, and they'll put things down. This is the Premier League. You speak to so many players when they come over to England, they'll talk about the quality in the bottom half of the league. And this is a league where strange results happen every single weekend. So I don't think it is a foregone conclusion that Arsenal are going to saunter this to the Premier League trophy and they'll be champions in early April. But they are in the lead, and it's going to take movement there, a transfer window before a World Cup tournament as well, which means there's going to be quite a few players on the move as well. So catching Arsenal will be hard. I'm sure there are 3 or 4 clubs that think they can catch Arsenal, but also I think Arteta, if from what you 2 are saying in those press conferences, I think Arteta's fairly relaxed about the fact that a couple of teams will try and chase him.
I mean, I was going to say, sorry, to me, they've got a look of Liverpool under Klopp in 2019-20, when they just set off like a scolded cat and they were winning and winning and winning. And there's a game at Burnley that sticks in my mind. We were in the, they won 3-0. And there was a few of us waiting in the tunnel afterwards to speak to a couple of the lads, and they were all just, I had it all in my mind all the time. They walked out like laser focused. It was like, done, next one, done, next one. This is what Arsenal like at the moment. Everything, like, it's like the stars have aligned for them. And when Liverpool beat Man City in the November, they went 9 points clear. That was it. It was game over, basically. And if the problem that Liverpool and Man City have got at the moment, and Chelsea, it's one false move and Arsenal win. That's it. If they get to 10 points, they're not coming back.
Arsenal's margin for error in games is so much higher now because their defence is so good. It's very hard to see any team scoring 2 goals against them right now, which means a 1-goal lead for Arsenal must feel so relieving or freeing for the team at the moment. So we'll see. Look.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
I mean, you know, people talk about Gabriel and Saliba at the back, but during Timber, arguably, has been their best player this season.
He's phenomenal.
Calafiori is the player that we now know, yeah, he is, and what Arteta wanted him to be last season. And as you mentioned, Zubimendi has just transformed that area, which has made Declan Rice even better because he's able to push up a bit, and which is why, you know, hopefully he'll score more goals. So, you know, as Dom says, you know, the stars are aligning, and they've still got Odegaard to come back, and Jesus, you know, and Havertz, and Madueke as well. So, yeah, they're looking really, really strong.
Quick quiz question. It's 102 games since Arsenal conceded 2 goals, more than 2 goals rather, in a game. Can you name the team?
100.
Bournemouth.
102 games since they conceded more than 2 goals.
Isn't it Bournemouth?
No.
Are you sure? Manchester City?
No. You won't believe the answer. It is Luton Town.
That was it.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
Fantastic.
can share that one with your friends.